Hey guys, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the brand new Tarte and Whitney Simmons collab. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss any of my future videos. All right, let's get into it. If you have been following me for a while, you probably know that I'm a pretty big fan of Tarte. I love a lot of their products, and actually their collab that they did with Aspen Ovard was my favorite collab that they've ever done. And her palette comes with eyeshadows as well as a highlight and a blush. So I was interested when I saw the Tarte and Whitney Simmons collab just because it also has shadows, a blush, and a highlight. So, but it also does come with a mascara, a mini mascara, and then a lipstick. So let's chat about all of this. I'm gonna do swatches, I'm gonna put it on my face. You'll see all of it. So in the package, this is the outer carton. I love the bright summery colors of it. And then this is the actual palette. This set retails for $35. I love this. I think it's adorable with all the workout equipment on it. And then the back is their typical gold packaging. And then when you get on the inside, you have a nice big mirror. And then these are the shades. So you have 6 eyeshadows as well as a highlight and a blush. And all of the names of them are like fitness terms. So there's flex, sweat, cut, snatch, tone up, trainer, cardio, and reps. And then it comes with this lipstick, which I haven't seen the cardboard packaging from a lipstick from Tarte yet, but this again has little sneakers on it, and it's all cardboard except this part. And then it's this really pretty nude color. And then lastly, it comes with a mini of the Maneater mascara, which I think I did a full review on this mascara. I'll link it up here if I can find it. So those are the products that the set comes with. As I said, it retails for $35. This is them next to each other. This is the Aspen Ovard blush and highlight, and then the Whitney Simmons blush and highlight. The Whitney Simmons is definitely a bit peachier, and then the highlight is a bit golder. The Aspen Ovard is a bit more champagne-y and a little bit more like pink mauve-y. I did use the blush today. I just popped it onto the apples of my cheeks and blended it out. It blended really beautifully, and it is in the shade Sweat. So I think it is just a absolutely gorgeous shade. This is definitely one of those shades that's up my alley. It's not too like Barbie pink. It's more of that natural flush color, which I really like. After that, I did go in with the highlight shade. My one thing about these two is that they are rectangle pans, and so I thought that it was a little bit difficult to get my brush into the blush pan. The highlight pan, not so much because I use a smaller highlighter brush, but the highlight shade is in the shade Flex, and this one blended beautifully. I think that it's absolutely gorgeous. And even the swatch is just like glowing to the gods kind of highlight. I think this would be gorgeous on a lot of different skin tones. And then I moved on to my eyes, and I first put this shade in Cut. I put this all over my lid to set down my foundation. And then I followed it by Tone Up, which is this gorgeous shade. This is like the perfect transition shade, and I threw that in my entire crease. And then I followed it up with Reps, which is this deeper chocolatey brown, and I threw that into my outer V and then blended it out a lot just so that it was like nice and blended. I also put those same colors, the 2 darker ones, Tone Up and Reps, I put those on my lower lash line and smudged it out. I didn't put any eyeliner on, and I also didn't put any of the shimmer shades on. So I used 3 out of the 6 shades in this look. I wanted something that's very easy for every day. I mean, honestly, for an everyday basis, I probably wouldn't have even smudged Reps on my outer V. I would have just smudged it on my lower lash line and left my lid with just the transition shade of Tone Up on. But for the sake of the video, I wanted to put a little bit more on. So let me just show you swatches of all of the shades. All right, this is all of the shades swatched. I love the two shimmer shades. They are absolutely gorgeous. This coppery shade would be stunning. And I was really impressed with the brown that I put in my outer V. I feel like it blended beautifully, but it also was pretty pigmented. A lot of like darker matte shades are hard to get a lot of pigmentation out of. After I finished my shadow, I went in with my Tarte Maneater. Like I said, I think I did a full video on this, which I will link it if I did. It's not my absolute favorite mascara, but I do think it's really good. You do have to build it up quite a bit to get a nice amount of payoff from it, but I think that you can definitely layer it without it getting clumpy right away. And it stays pretty separated. It holds a nice curl. It's just not quite as voluminous and dramatic as I personally like. And then lastly, I used the lipstick. And again, this is in the shade Bare Bud, and it's a buttery lipstick. I would say it's not fully opaque, which at first when I applied it, I was expecting it to be, but it's almost like a balm with like not full opacity, which I personally am totally okay with. This shade is right up my alley and it is insanely comfortable. I think this is definitely something I would throw in my purse and just put on when I'm on the go. Overall, I am so impressed with this set. I'm really excited to have it in my collection. I think the colors in here are stunning. You can definitely get an everyday look. You can also get a more dramatic look if that's what you're looking for. I do think that it's more of an everyday look type of shadow palette, just because there's nothing like super dramatic in here, which obviously you guys know that's kind of like what I'm all about. And I actually really love the blush and the highlight shades. I think that they were really flattering, and I think that they're shades that will work for a lot of different people's skin tones. And then I really enjoyed the lipstick, and the mascara I feel like is just like an extra bonus. So it's cool that it's in there, but it's not like swaying my decision kind of either way. I think the big thing is the palette. As I was editing this video, I realized that I kind of wanted to go through some of my other Tarte palettes and just share some shadows that are very similar in shade, just in case you already have these shadows. This might not be a palette that you necessarily need. Not that any palette under the sun is what you need, but I just wanted to share some that I think would be similar and swatch them for you, just for some comparisons. For reference, the palettes I'm going to go through are the Tarte Tartelette palette, the Tarte Tartelette in Bloom, the Maneater, this is the volume 2, and then I do have the Aspen Override. This was limited edition and is not available anymore, so if you don't already have it, you wouldn't be able to get these shadows anyway. I'm just going to go kind of one by one. So the first shadow is this one in Cut. It's kind of like a peachy shade, and I actually don't have another shade in any of these palettes that is super similar to that one. So I'm just gonna move on to Snatched. Snatched is this one right here. So I'm gonna swatch it and then swatch the other shades. Again, I haven't done this yet, so I don't know for sure if any of them will actually match up. I ended up comparing it to 4 shadows. So this is the Snatched from the Whitney palette. And then this one is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. It is Rebel. And then I swatched Purr from the Maneater palette. This is like my everyday shade. And then I also did Natural Beauty in the original Tartelette palette. So this is what they look like. This again is the Whitney one. I think these two are the most similar. I'm just gonna put them side by side so you can see them better. So this is what they look like, and this is Purr from the Maneater. So if you have that one, that shade is very similar. Next, this is Tone Up from the Whitney palette. It's this one right here. And I compared it to Saucy in the Maneater palette, and then also to Tea Time in the Aspen Override palette. And none of them are exactly the same. So I wouldn't say these are like exact matches at all. The next shade is Trainer, which is this shimmer shade, and that's right here. The closest one I found is from the Aspen Override palette, which again is not available anymore. And that one is the center shade in Heart of Gold. So I think that one doesn't really count because the palette's just not available anymore. Okay, I thought these two were gonna be way more similar than they are. This is in Cardio. It's this shimmer shade. And then I compared it to Hypnotic, which is this bottom middle shade. And they're actually pretty different. Next, I compared the deep browns. So this is Reps in the Whitney palette, and that is this one. And then I compared all the browns in these palettes. So I have Leader and Activist from the Tartelette in Bloom. I have Midnight from the Maneater palette. I have Multitasker from the original Tartelette palette. And then I also have Road Trip from the Aspen palette. And I think the one that is closest to it is Leader from the Tartelette in Bloom. That is this second one. Those two are probably the closest. But again, once you have these colors on your eyes, a lot of these would look really similar, and almost every palette they have has a chocolatey brown in it. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there because I know when you're going to buy a palette, you want to make sure that you don't have the exact same thing in your collection already and that it would be worth your money. So those are kind of the comparisons that I've seen between these 5 palettes. Again, I don't have every Tarte palette, but in case you have any of these ones, hopefully that is helpful. Anyway, that is everything for this video. Let me know down below if you are planning on trying this out, what you thought of it, if you think it looks really cool, if you think it looks terrible. Let me know all the things down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.